Okay, within this interview we're going to have a look at the physical mind design of and as itching within the human physical body. Physical mind design meaning having a look at the creation and manifestation of itching in the human physical body in relation to how it is created and manifested through the mind consciousness system in the physical. So within the previous two interviews with regards to the physical indication support of the human physical body in relation to itching, we had a look at the three dimensions within which itching can manifest in the human physical body. So let us have a look at the structural design manifestation of itching in the human physical body in relation to the mind consciousness system. So the first dimension as the itching that manifests as a rash in the human physical body. There we discussed the first dimension as being your past unconscious manifested point that is re-emerging in relation to anger and irritation. Meaning it's a point that you've got to investigate in relation to a particular reaction of anger and irritation. Now, what happens when you, for example, live a certain manifestation through the mind consciousness system into the physical that is a habitual pattern of behavior and application with a starting point of energy, wherein one, for example, in many moments accept and allow self to react within anger and irritation, where it becomes a definitive physical experienced reaction where you literally become physically angry and irritated, where the anger and irritation lightly vibrate in your physical body as an actual energy, and one accept and allow self to within various moments continuously throughout a sequential period of time live in such a reaction wherein one do not sort it out or face it or resolve it, but simply suppress it over and over again and have it re-emerge over and over again. Every single time one accept and allow self to have that reaction emerge and then suppress, emerge and then suppress, you form a layer. Each and every time it builds up a resonant layer in your human physical body. So every time that vibration of energy manifests physically in your body, it manifests a layer upon layer upon layer. And it is a constant vibration, meaning your energy of your mind consciousness system has a particular specific vibratory frequency in relation to the strength or the force in which it exists. So now you've got these layers manifested in your body that's like energetic layers that's constantly vibrating at a particular frequency, and now it gets to a point where the physical cannot contain or hold that vibration frequency intact or even support it in any way whatsoever, and that causes friction within the human physical body. That friction manifests a heat, which then creates an infection, which manifests a rash. And that is how a rash manifests in relation to your first dimension of itching. And then the itching occurs because as the vibration frequency of the layered energy start vibrating, and the physical actually through friction has to release it, that's where the itching then occurs. So itching is that point of release of the physical and the extensive frequential vibration of the energy that's been layered to such an extent that the physical can't contain it, and where you thus are facing manifested consequence of all those times or moments where you didn't stop and breathe, but instead suppressed and formed a layer. Okay, the second dimension with regards to itching that we discussed was the temporary itching, which lasts a few minutes, maybe hours, or a day, or 3 days max. Such an itching we discussed with regards to where you're facing movement, self-movement within a particular point or experience, situation, environment, or person within your world and your reality, where information is physically moving, or where you're moving through the information or through the point as it exists within you, but yet you're not yet completely standing within all the points that you're facing. So there's like instability that's still happening with regards to your movement, where you're standing in some points but not completely in others, and that not completely is like creating a slight instability or friction. So you've got like two things happening at the same time, where there's movement yet there's not movement at the same time. And now how that physically manifests in relation to the mind consciousness system, you can, for example, let's again take the knee point with regards to ego and superiority. Let's say you have now applied yourself in terms of facing a point in your world, in your reality, in not accepting and allowing yourself to go into ego and superiority. For example, let it be a position within your job environment in which you do have an authoritative position, but that doesn't mean you require going into ego and superiority energetically towards others in your world and your environment. And now, towards some people that you, for example, had a closer relationship with, it's been easier to stop the ego superiority point, where you can still have an equal relationship with them in communication and interaction and things like that. So from that perspective, your point in relation to facing ego and superiority within a particular specific environment and towards people is becoming quite stable. You're physically, practically changing yourself in relation to that point. However, towards others within the same work environment towards who you don't have such a close relationship to, you realize that you still abuse superiority and ego towards them. Now, from that perspective, then you're not yet completely standing in relation to ego and superiority within the context of your work environment and the people within it. So then you obviously have to look at, okay, how is relationships then determining this particular point that I'm facing? So what happens then is, for example, in your knee, you're starting to itch. And now that itching is manifest because that construct that you're facing is manifested particularly within your knees as signifying ego and superiority. So that one construct will predominantly be manifested in the knee point. And because you're moving through some point and through others not, there's some information or construct parts of that system that's releasing, but other parts still getting stuck. And because that stuckness and releasing is happening at the same time, that's manifesting like a friction moment where there'd be movement but also stuckness at the same time, and that moment of friction causes a momentary itch. Okay, then you have your itch, which is the third dimension that we discussed in the previous interviews, where your itching is just in a quick moment, which is that one moment where you itch, in which we discussed it being a evasion tactic of not wanting to face a particular thought or experience. This is your more finer detailed points. Now what manifests there is like your reaction in that moment is so speedily done that, and the thought and the reaction comes up so quickly that fast moment of evasion causes like a heat friction in the area that you're scratching, and so that's why you only experience it for like that quick moment, and why it is a suppression tactic, because it's like this thought and reactions coming up, and it's like if developed such a habit to suppress this thought and reaction that your evasion, suppression, hiding tactic is so immediate that you counteract that thought and reaction almost before it manifests into a picture or a defined experience. And because that countermeasure is so instantaneous, almost so automatic, so habitual, that heat of suppression, or that heat of hiding, or that heat of pushing it away immediately manifests a heat reaction momentarily on your human physical, and that very moment of that counter change or counteraction manifests then, because of that, the speed of it, it manifests a momentary friction as an itchiness, and then you suppress or hide whatever it is that you were trying to, or that was attempting to come up in thought or reaction, which should be investigated in detail. Alright, that then the physical mind design of itching.